Okay, so for the 8.1 question and answer, I decided to do a question in which you have to add two equations and subtract them and find a value for them. So for A, it says to determine an equation for j of x. J of x equals f of x plus g of x. F of x is negative 4x squared plus 5, and g of x is 2x plus 3. G of x is a linear term, and f of x is a quadratic term. So, to figure out g of x, we will plug in f of x plus g of x. F of x is negative 4x squared plus 5, and g of x is 2x minus 3. It's important to put the second term in brackets because if you're subtracting them, you have to remember to distribute the negative sign inside the brackets. So for this, you're going to distribute the positive sign inside the brackets. Since it's positive, it won't really make that much of a difference. So we'll go ahead and expand this, and we get negative 4x squared plus 5 plus 2x minus 3. So now with this step, we'll collect like terms to make the expression smaller and easier for us to comprehend. So, since there is no x squared, no other x squared term, we don't have anything to collect for that. And there's no other x term in the equation either. But since 5 is a natural number and 3 is a natural number too, we'll collect those two together. And to make it easier for us to understand this, we'll write it as a quadratic equation. So x squared first, and then the linear term, and then the y-intercept. So we write 4x squared plus 2x, and 5 minus 3 equals 2, so plus 2. So that is the final j of x equation that forms when you combine f of x and g of x. So the next step is for us to find j of negative 3. So that means whenever there is an x value, you plug in negative 3 for that. So negative 4 times negative 3 squared plus 2 times negative 3 plus 2. Now, we know that a negative number, when you square a negative number anytime, it becomes a positive because it's basically negative 3 times negative 3. So then, we go ahead and solve this. We get negative 4 times 9 plus 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 plus 2. So negative 4 times 9 is negative 36 plus positive and negative become negative minus 6 plus 2. So you go ahead and just solve the whole, add and subtract all these together and solve the whole equation, and j of negative 3 equals negative 40. So that is the solution for A, j of x. Now moving on, we can find the solution for k of x, which equals f of x minus g of x. And we have to find k of 0. So let's go ahead and plug our functions in for f of x and g of x. F of x is negative 4x squared plus 5 minus 2x minus 3. So now it really becomes important to include the brackets, because since you're going to expand the negative sign inside the brackets, the negative and negative will make a positive. And if you didn't do that, that would totally change the outcome of your equation. It would definitely be a totally different equation. So go ahead and expand. You have 4x squared plus 5 minus 2. Negative and negative make positive, plus minus 2x plus 3, which gives you a normal expression. And then now go ahead and collect like terms at this step, because we can see that there is two like terms there. We can collect the 5 and the 3. So that equals negative 4x squared minus 2x5 plus 3 in this case equals 8. So it's positive 8. That's the equation for k of x. That's the equation for k of x. Now we have to go ahead and find k of 0. So wherever there's an x value, we plug in a 0. So negative 4 times 0 squared is 0, so 0, plus 2 times, minus 2 times 0, and plus 8. So k of 0 equals negative 4 times 0 is 0, minus 2 times 0 is 0, plus 8. So k of 0 equals 0 plus 8, and that therefore equals number 8. So that is the answer for k of 0 equals 8. So now, for the third and final secondary solution, we'll do L of x. So L of x equals, this time, g of x minus f of x. And we have to find L of 3. So we go ahead and find and then plug in our values for L of x and g of x and f of x. So for L of x, we have to subtract g of x from f of x. So it's important to put f of x in brackets because it has a negative in front, and usually when people don't do that, they end up thinking that this negative is a subtraction sign between these two different roots or functions in this case. So it's important to put the bracket here because to remind yourself that you need to expand the negative into this bracket. So let's go ahead and expand, and we get 2x minus 3 plus 4x squared minus 5. Now we'll collect the like terms, as you all know, and put it in order of to look like a quadratic function, so it's easier to read. 4x squared plus 2x, negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8, and that gives us the equation for L of x. Now, second part is we have to find L of 3. So now we'll go ahead and plug 3 wherever an x is. So it's 3 squared plus 2 times 3 minus 8. So 3 squared is 9, 4 times 9 plus 3 times 2 is 6 minus 8. L of 3 equals 9 times 4 times 9, or 9 times 4, same thing, doesn't really matter because they're commutative. And 30, that equals 36 plus 6 minus 8. 36 plus 6 equals 42. We're left with 42 minus 8, and that is 34. So in conclusion, L of 3 is 34. So the one main thing to remember from this video is that to remember to put brackets around the different functions. Because if you have a negative sign here, subtraction, you have to remember to expand it into the brackets. If you do not do that, your answer will be wrong, and therefore the combined function will be wrong. And Mr. Lawrence will definitely take marks off of that on the test. So keep that in mind, and good luck, everyone. Thank you.